In shadowed time, a whisper rose to silence the eternal flame. One morning, when Akanisha was 7 years old, she wandered into the forest alone. She did not hesitate. She did not look back. She had always felt drawn to the trees, to the whispering wind, to the gentle rustling of leaves that seemed to speak in hushed voices only she could hear. In the village, she was an outcast. But here, among the towering trunks and endless green, she was not strange. The trees did not shy away from her. The animals did not tremble in her presence. She walked with steady steps, her bare feet pressing against the soft earth, moving deeper and deeper into the embrace of the wild. Then she reached the river. The water was calm, smooth like glass, reflecting the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy above. She knelt at the edge. Her breath was slow, even, and she stared at herself. Her own reflection rippled beneath her, distorted slightly by the gentle movement of the water. She did not look like the others. She had always known this. Her skin light brown and rich, like her mother's. Her features sharp, striking, like her father's. But it was her eyes, her hair. They set her apart. Her blue eyes gleamed, even in the shadowed morning light. Her dreadlocks, heavy, dark, seemed to move, not with the wind, not with her breath, but of their own accord, as though they had a life separate from her own. And then something changed. Something shifted in the water. A flicker, a ripple, a wrongness. Akanisha's breath hitched. Her reflection did not move with her. Her hands trembled slightly as she leaned closer, her face hovering just inches from the water's surface. The girl in the river, her own reflection, smiled at her. Akanisha's heartbeat thundered in her chest. She had not smiled. She knew she had not smiled. Yet the face in the water, her own face, stared back, lips curled in an expression she did not wear. Then the reflection lifted a hand, slowly, deliberately. Akanisha's hands remained at her sides. She did not move. And yet, the girl in the water did. Then, as the water rippled again, she saw it. Saw what should not have been. Her dreadlocks, no longer hair, they writhed, twisted, coiled, not like strands of hair caught in a breeze, but like living vipers, slithering, shifting, moving as though they had minds of their own. Akanisha's breath caught in her throat, and for the first time, she felt fear, reeled, fear. She scrambled away from the water, her limbs shaking, her breath ragged, her mind reeled. What had she just seen? Had it been real, or was she going mad? The village could no longer ignore it. The power within Akanisha, it had been whispered about, feared, avoided, but now it could no longer be denied. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, staining the sky in hues of crimson and gold, the elders gathered once more, as they often did, whispering. Their voices hushed but urgent. The cursed child, they called Akanisha. They debated her fate, their expressions grim, their words edged with fear. Should she be banished? Should she be cast into the forest, never to return? Should she be left to the spirits that claimed her? They spoke, unaware of the shift beneath their very feet. Then, the ground moved, a slow, deep tremor, not a violent quake, not destruction, but a shifting, a rewriting of the land itself. The village, it had moved, drawn away from the river where it had always stood, and where the river once flowed in a single path, two tributaries appeared, split like the veins of the earth, carving a new shape into the land. This had never happened before, not in the entire existence of Nyakalowa. The elders froze, their voices stopped, and then the fire at the center of the village sputtered. Its flames flickered, struggling against an unseen force. And then it died, plunging them into darkness. A silence deeper than the night itself fell upon them. Then a voice, soft, cold, not a voice from the living, not a voice from any throat, from any lips, from any place that could be seen. A voice from the air itself, a whisper, from everywhere and nowhere. "You are all unworthy," it said, "for you despise Her Majesty, the Queen of the realm beyond realms." A collective gasp. The villagers' eyes darted wildly, their breath caught in their throats. Who had spoken? Where had it come from? There was no one there, no one, except for Akanisha, a few feet away, standing, watching, but her lips had not moved. The words had not been spoken by her. They had come from something else, something deep inside her, something that had been sleeping. And now, for the first time, it was awake. Akanisha's blue eyes burned, but blue undying flames, pure, luminous, endless. And in that moment, she changed. Not in body, but in presence. Her anger had stirred something vast, something ancient, something that was never meant to exist in the mortal world. For a fleeting second, the beast within her, the terror that had been sleeping inside her soul, awoke. It did not wake for long. Akanisha's innocence calmed it, and as quickly as it had come, it slipped back into the depths of her being, retreating into slumber once more. Akanisha blinked, regaining herself. Her eyes returned to their normal blue. She stood there, confused, curious, wondering why the villagers were screaming. She did not realize what she had become, not in those few seconds. Not in those fleeting moments when the beast had stared at the world through her eyes. But the villagers, they had seen, and that was when they knew. She had to leave. At dawn, the decision was made. There was no more debate, no more whispers, only the cold, unshakable truth. Akanisha was to be cast out. The village had spoken. Her parents wept. Silent tears ran down Nia's face, her hands trembling as she clutched her chest. Kojo stood rigid, his jaw clenched, his fists curled at his sides. But they did not fight it. They could not. They had always known. This day would come. And so, as the first light of morning stretched across the land, Akanisha stood at the edge of the forest. A small girl, 7 years old. Her piercing blue eyes unblinking as she gazed back at the village that had rejected her. The place of her birth, the place that had never been her home. But she was not afraid. She did not tremble. She did not cry. For deep within her soul she had always known this was her path. This was how it was meant to be. And as she turned, as she stepped forward into the waiting shadows of the trees, the wind stirred, a breath of something ancient, something unseen, and it whispered, Akanisha, we are and we will always be yours. Yes. The moment Akanisha stepped beyond the village boundary, something shifted. The weight of human rejection, the pain of exile, the silent wounds of being cast aside, lifted from her chest. She did not look back. She did not hesitate. She did not cry. She only walked, deeper and deeper, into the waiting embrace of the forest. The trees, ancient, towering, wise, did not resist her presence. Their branches did not claw at her skin. Their thorns did not reach to snag her clothes. The undergrowth, thick, tangled, treacherous for most, parted for her steps. The earth did not fight her. The wind did not whisper warnings. She belonged here, and the forest knew it. As the sky darkened, the voices of the wild awoke. The distant cries of unseen beasts echoed through the trees. The rustling of creatures, shifting in the underbrush, surrounded her. Yet Akanisha did not fear. She felt them, felt their presence, felt their eyes upon her, golden, glowing in the night, blinking, shifting, dozens of them. Then a shadow moved, sleek, silent. A panther emerged from the darkness, black as midnight, its muscles rippling beneath its skin, its movements fluid like liquid shadow. It stepped into the dim moonlight. Then another and another. More shadows broke from the darkness. Wolves, hyenas, owls perched in the branches above, their heads tilting in perfect unison. They surrounded her, not as predators, not as threats, but as something else, as guardians, as kin. Akanisha lifted her chin. She did not question it. She did not need to. She knew the connection. She did not know how. She did not know why. But she knew she was their commander. She was their source. And they were hers. The village had rejected her, but the forest had accepted her. That night, she dreamed. She stood before a mirror, but it was no ordinary mirror. It was not made of glass. It did not reflect as mirrors should. It was water, rippling, shifting, like liquid silver. And within it, she saw herself. But the reflection did not move with her. It stood still, watching. Then it smiled. Akanisha's breath caught in her throat. She had not smiled, yet her reflection had. And then the dreadlocks on its head began to change, twisting, writhing. Not strands of hair, but serpents. Alive. Their gleaming eyes watching her, unblinking, their forked tongues flickering in the air. They hissed. Akanisha gasped. She stumbled back. But the reflection reached out a hand, a slow, deliberate movement, not threatening, not forceful, but calling. Come back to us. The words were not spoken. They did not echo in the air. They did not vibrate against her ears. They were felt. Like a whisper in the bones, like a memory buried deep. Akanisha's heart pounded. Who was she? What was she? A name, a purpose, a truth, something just beyond her reach. She opened her mouth to ask, to understand. But before she could, the dream shattered. She awoke, Gasping, the cold night air stinging her skin, she sat up, her breath unsteady, her pulse thrumming beneath her ribs, and then she heard it. The wind, speaking in hushed tones, not random, not meaningless, but words. She could feel it, the heartbeat of the earth beneath her. Pulsing, alive. She knew things she had never been taught, truths that had never been spoken. She was waking up to something far greater than she had ever imagined. Days passed. Akanisha wandered, but she never felt lost. She did not need to hunt. The animals brought her food. She did not need to fear the cold. The trees bent their branches, creating shelter over her at night. The forest cared for her. It knew her, and she knew it. Then, one evening as she walked near the river, a terrible cry split the air. Sharp, desperate, a sound of pain. Akanisha turned sharply, every sense flaring. Then she saw it, a child, a boy, no older than 10. Bloodied, limping, crashing through the trees, his breath ragged, his body trembling with fear. And behind him, it emerged. Not a beast, not a lion, not a leopard, but something in between. Something ancient, something born of the wild itself. Its body was massive, its muscles coiled with unnatural strength, and its eyes red, glowing, hunger burning in their depths. Then it lunged, fangs bared, claws extended, a predator claiming its prey. But at that instant, everything stopped. The world, the air, the beast, frozen. Time itself, still. The creature's body hung mid-motion, its powerful limbs locked as if caught in unseen chains. Its chest heaved, its breath choked. It tried to let out a growl, but the sound never came. Its eyes, wide, confused, afraid, stared into nothingness. Its energy draining, its life force dissipating. Akanisha's heartbeat remained steady, slow, unshaken. It was as though she had done this 1,000 times before, yet she had not tried to do this. Had she? Was this her doing? Or something deeper, something older, awakening inside her? But she knew. She had done this. She had stopped it, with nothing but her mind. The boy scrambled away, his body pressed to the ground, watching in terror. The beast trembled, fighting against her hold. But Akanisha's eyes, burning blue, like flames of ice, and then words came, not from her lips, not from her voice, but from something deeper. They rippled through the air, not spoken. Etched into existence itself. Be peaceful, leave, and eat flesh and blood beneath you. The beast obeyed. Akanisha released it from her grasp. Its body shuddered as it regained control. Its red eyes flickered and dimmed. Slowly, it lowered its head, a sign of submission, a sign of understanding. Then, without another sound, it turned and vanished into the forest, gone. Akanisha stood still. The air around her tingled. The ground beneath her felt aware. She exhaled, she knew. This was power, a growing power. Not fear, not yet, but a whisper of something else, a fear of what else was hidden deep inside her, what else was waiting to be unleashed. Her power was growing, and she was just beginning. Far away, in a place unseen by mortal eyes, they watched, a council of immortals, seated in a realm beyond time, beyond space, beyond the reach of the living. Their forms wavered, neither flesh nor shadow, neither light nor darkness, eternal, unseen, unspoken, yet ever present. Before them the divine pool, its surface rippled with visions, shifting between moments, between possibilities, between truths yet to unfold. And within its depths, a child, a girl, one who should not have been. Yet there she was, walking the earth, awakening, and the council watched,